Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I am Colin.
I am Craig.
Why you gotta mock me? So, last week we talked about Ant-Man 3 and how it took us a year to finally get around to it. But this time we have a movie that seems like it's infiltrated everybody's life somehow. I don't know about you, Craig. I don't think you've gone to the theaters a lot, but I have gone to the theaters a lot since October, and I have seen this trailer everywhere.
How many movies have you seen?
That's besides the point. I see this trailer at every showing. They even had a specialized trailer made for, or it was attached to screenings of Mean Girls, and
Oh, that's right, you saw that.
it is so annoying. This movie, just seeing all the trailers, and I don't know if you probably saw the trailers before, right?
Well, for Godzilla minus one.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay. So it said from the twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn. It's just like, oh, eye roll. But we're talking about Argylle, the movie that everyone seems to just dump on right now.
So what has he done that's so twisted? The
He
only
is,
thing I
he's done
know him
nothing
for is
that
The
is twisted.
Kingsman.
Yeah, he's done nothing that is really twisted. If anything, like it should have said like, I don't know. They should have said anything but from the twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn. But yeah, Argyle's the movie where it's the big mystery. Who is the real Agent Argylle? So with that being said, there's going to be obviously spoilers because we don't really talk about new movies as soon as they come out. This came out like a week ago, so
Well, don't worry, no one else saw it too, so.
that's very true. But in case anyone is curious who the real Agent Argylle is, we're going to spoil it. But before we do that, Craig, what did you think of Argylle from the Twisted Mind of Matthew Vaughn?
Eh. I mean, I didn't hate it, didn't like it. It was just okay. If it was something that was on the background, I wouldn't get upset that it was on TV, but I wouldn't be actively looking for it.
I also didn't hate it. I don't think it's nearly as bad as the Rotten Tomatoes score suggests, and you could say people take that with a grain of salt. But I mean, it's getting terrible reviews across the board. Like Metacritic, I think it has a 33. Oh no, excuse me, it has a 35 on Metacritic. So the movie's just getting trashed on. I don't think it's that bad. I think if I were to grade it, I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Like it's not unwatchable. I think it's too long in some parts, and the end they try to throw too many twists at you. And yeah, Henry Cavill has a terrible wig or haircut, whatever that is. It looks like a Lego piece
Yeah.
attached to his head.
But it's so crazy. Well, I think that's part of the meta stuff, right? He's obviously an over-the-top spy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it gets that, but I didn't really care for the meta stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie is hinging on the twist, and the twist is, I think I said to you guys beforehand, I thought the twist was going to be the cat was Agent Argyle, and if you want to talk about crazy twists, that'd be like, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense anyway that there's a cat running around shooting people with a silenced pistol.
I mean, we've seen crazier things. Why not? It'd been funnier.
That's very true, but Ellie Conway, who's played by Bryce Dallas Howard, is Agent Argyle. Essentially, throughout the movie, you think she's like some kind of recluse author who's written these Argyle books, and people are questioning her, like, "Oh, well, it seems like your books are predicting stuff. They're a little too close to the source." And she says, like, "Oh, I'm well researched. I put time and time into making sure the books are, or like at least the geopolitical stuff is as accurate as possible." And it turns out that she is the real Agent Argyle, Craig. Her name is Rachel Kyle. Or
Looks
Kyle.
a little too close to R. Kelly.
That's what I was thinking too, honestly. And she was trying to get something from the Division, who are the bad guys, the Master Key, and she isn't able to do so. She gets like knocked out, or her cover's blown, and then she's suffering, or she gets brainwashed by the Division. And it turns out that her parents in the movie, the mom and Bryan Cranston, are the bad guys. It was so weird when they revealed the dad being like the bad guy, then like you knew something was up. Like, not excuse me, when you realized that Bryan Cranston is her dad, you're like,
Yeah.
what? Um, I'm trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, so her Argylle books are her suppressed memories put into the novels of her espionage exploits, and that her cat is named Alfie is based off a real guy who uh, is played by Samuel L. Jackson, and the John Cena in the novels is really based off of Sam Rockwell, which I think you'll probably agree. I thought he was easily the best part of the movie.
Oh yeah, because he's an actual charismatic, kind of goofy guy. Well, we all love him as Justin Hammer.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little chuckle when he's teaching Ellie how to like stomp on somebody's head. He's like, "Yeah, do the twist,
You'd
do
be
the twist."
surprised how easy it is to like the cave a human skull in.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible twist. Ironically enough, everyone is kind of wondering, or at least people on the internet were kind of wondering who the real Agent Argylle was, and they accidentally spoiled it in a press release when the movie got announced like 2 years ago on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, it was spoiled 2 years ago.
Well, again, no one saw it, so I doubt anyone remembers the
Yes, I
spoiler.
mean, I guess later on we'll talk about the inflated budget and its dismal opening weekend. But I mean, do you have anything to say?
Well, I didn't care. See, this is a lot of people like the word meta these days, and they want to include meta stuff in their movies, and I don't really like it. I'm getting tired of it very quickly. Because when we first meet Aiden, he was saying, "Yeah, a spy isn't dressed like Henry Cavill with his Lego hair. They're dressed like me, like a bum." It's like, oh yeah, we get it. It's a movie. Sometimes you gotta just jump into the fantasy. We get it. It's not how realistic things work. But then they go and do all these crazy things anyway, so I don't know why they're even talking about it.
Yeah, okay. So I thought also, I agree with you. I thought also, I mean, I seen complaints saying the CGI was a little wonky, which it was in the beginning. I thought it looked pretty bad when Henry Cavill is chasing after Dua
Oh yeah.
Lipa in that, like, whatever kind of car that was.
I was almost thinking it was intentional.
It probably was. I mean,
But then
like,
again, I want to give him
because it's like a
credit. Like,
novel, or it's supposed to be a novel at that
it's
point.
over the top,
Yeah. But
but I
then
want to give him credit for being incompetent.
the CGI looked a little wonky when, towards the end, Bryce Dallas Howard uses roller skates, or she puts knives in her boots and is skating on oil. I'm like, this looks terrible.
Well, I was gonna say they're talking about things being realistic. I can tell you that's probably not gonna happen.
Oh, 100%. I mean, them doing it doesn't bother me. It's the fact that it looks just like trash. It looked pretty bad.
What bothered me was when they're trying to say, "Oh, that's not realistic spy work," and they're doing stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the scene with when they take out all the bad guys. I think this is before the oil scene. They get all the smoke bombs, and they're all different colored, and then it was like they're having a dance while killing people.
Yeah,
I thought that was a little, I don't want to say cringe, but I thought it was a little too on the nose. I
this
don't
was
know.
going for a while too.
Yeah, went on. I think a weird complaint is I think some of the action scenes went on too long, especially with the first train fight sequence when Rachel Kyle or Ellie Conway meets Sam Rockwell on the train, and then it kept on like cutting back to her blinking, and she'd see Henry Cavill doing it. It's like, all right, we get it. And then it kept on going on. Like he put her in a room, or no, he put her in the bathroom, and he's like trying to talk her through, and then he gets like punched, and then it happens again, and then it happens again. It's like, all right, we get it.
Yeah, you get it. She sees him, and she's like, "Yeah." It's,
Yeah.
like I said, it was just a lot of the action scenes just went on way too, even I think that the final fight too, it felt like it was just going on, like you're just watching Sam Rockwell get his face beat in.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew, if there's anything he is known for, it is like his generally stylish fight sequences. Like they're usually always the high point of his movies, even his trash ones like The Kingsman and Kingsman 2. But yeah, they just it feels like each movie his fight sequences are getting more ridiculous, and it's like he doesn't have restraint
I was
on
gonna
it.
say they're almost. I feel like they're almost getting worse.
Yeah, they're like there's a fine line between like cartoon and like over the top, if that makes sense. Like I think this was just a cartoon.
I also
Some of the
just
fight
feel
sequences.
that we've kind of seen this before. I mean, he's done these kinds of action scenes. This is his fourth movie doing it.
Yeah, essentially,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is, I guess, his signature kind of action scene stuff. But when you see it, a couple of times, it's like, this is all you have. I know it's kind of hard to
Yes.
top yourself too, but at the same time, I feel like we've seen this already, sort of.
No, I get what you're saying, yeah. It's like that's his only shtick, and he's overstaying his welcome with that stuff.
Like, it's stylish, it's fun, but especially in this movie where they felt like they were going on for too long, it definitely, I was feeling where it's like, not only have I seen this before, but I'm seeing this too much right now.
It's like kind of like you look at your watch and you're like, all right, come on, guys, let's get it going. I think also a big complaint of the movie is its runtime. I think its runtime is too bloated. I think almost everybody who's seen this movie, those few people, would agree that it's too long.
All 12 of us.
Yeah, I think if they cut out maybe 15 minutes and possibly like condense some scenes here or there, it would have flowed better. But almost 2 hours and 20 minutes is just ridiculous.
Yeah, because I remember it was not great I was watching on my phone, but I was checking my phone quite frequently. Like, okay, when is this going to? I don't want to fast forward, but I don't want to be sitting through this either.
Can we talk about a trope that I just hate now? And Matthew Vaughn has done this in The Kingsman too. If you want to show that the bad guy is really bad, you show him killing a henchman. And I just hate that now. It feels so overplayed. It's like trying to beat the audience over the head with like, oh, he's a bad guy. He even kills his own people. It's like,
Which
all
I
right,
never. I know it's maybe a staple, it's a trope for a reason, but it always felt to me
it's
so over the top.
counterintuitive.
Yeah, why would you kill your henchmen? The whole point of people being loyal to you is that they can, hopefully rely on you and trust you and blah blah blah. If you're constantly killing people just for the fun of it, I wouldn't want to work for you. I'd leave.
Yeah, it is. I hate that trend. And he did the Kingsman where the main bad guy like he slices his favorite goat's throat and kills him, and then the guy later on. I don't know if you've seen that movie. The guy later on is practicing like fencing, and he has like a single shot gun attached to the sword, and he kills the guy he's like sparring against. It's just like what?
Yeah, a little counterintuitive. You don't really build loyalty when, especially these bad guys. I know it's not everyone's the same, but you're supposed to, follow their vision. You trust them. You would die for these guys, typically. And then if you're killing your henchmen like it's nothing, probably
I
not gonna have the same kind of loyalty.
I think one twist that was just really stupid. I don't want to use the word stupid, but it was kind of stupid. Was they tried to do what's it called? I can't think of the word. Oh, the misdirection that Ellie is really a double agent for the division. I'm like, all right, like come on, like I know that's not true. I don't think that fooled anybody, and it felt like that just like again that increased the runtime a little bit, even
Well,
by a
increase
couple
the
minutes.
and it didn't really change anything because
She failed what she was trying to do. Like, what was the point of her pretending to be? I know she wanted to send out that signal to Alfie, whatever that was. I think it was like blackmail stuff because he was part of the CIA, right? Was it? It was something like that, I think.
well, my thing was if she was a double agent, why would they brainwash her?
Well, that too. Yeah, yeah. That makes no sense.
Because if she's already working for you, why are you gonna brainwash her and start leaking your whole secrets through books?
Well, I think they brainwashed her because yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Because if she was always like on their side and she was about to get the info of where the master key is, why would they brainwash her then at
'Cause I know
all?
they went to the scene. I think they were in Greece where they took off their earpieces, and I think that's when she went good. But then why would she go back after getting her memories back?
Yeah, it was a pointless misdirection, and that made no sense.
With a twist.
It was a
Night
twist within a
Shyamalan.
twist within a twist.
I can't make
And
Shyamalan a little excited over
speaking
there.
of again, like kind of eye rolling and ridiculousness, at one point when Bryce Dallas Howard betrays Sam Rockwell, she shoots him in the chest. And for a second, I was like, "There's no way she killed him. There's no way." But then I was like, "Maybe he has a bulletproof vest." And he starts bleeding. I'm like, "Maybe he's got something there." No, in this movie's logic, and I mean, I know they make a line about it, like saying, like pointing out how ridiculous it is. But just because you do that doesn't mean you get a pass. You know what I mean? Like just because you have a line that like says this is stupid because X, Y, and Z,
Yeah, then you
and then you
do it.
still do it anyway. I don't know. That's so stupid. But anyway, she shot him in the chest so perfectly that it went like through his chest and it
It
avoided
went
the.
through his heart.
Yeah, it perfectly went through his heart, so it didn't hit anything vital. And she's like, "Oh,
What
you
was
just
it,
gotta
like
stop
the
the bleeding."
corridor where yeah, you just which again, that's also not very easy when you shoot someone in the heart. Yeah, just stop the bleeding. Oh, yeah, just
Yeah,
put some
yeah.
dirt on it.
If only paramedics could think of that to stop the bleeding faster. But it tried to have like that big what's it, setup and payoff early on, very in the very beginning. One of the girls that works with, as it turns out, it really is Ellie, but it was shown as Henry Cavill. One of the characters gets shot by Dua Lipa and she dies, or you think she dies, and then I think right before the final act, she was talking about how a fan sent her a theory saying like, "Oh, this is how this one character can survive in your books." And it turns out that fan that sent that theory to Ellie was the girl who got shot in the beginning. And then that's how Ellie gets the idea to perfectly shoot Sam Rockwell in the chest where it avoids all vital organs.
And then again, after the fact, she said, "Oh yeah, I did my research to see if it would make sense." It's like, still, it's not a very easy shot. Yeah, Colin, just practice. Shoot me in the chest, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That would totally work. And that's even considering the fact that it has to go through bone unless it perfectly went through the cracks in your ribs or in your chest too. Like that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I'm getting so hung up about that, but it just makes no sense.
Well, a large part, a huge chunk of the third act hinged on that.
Yeah, yeah. It was just so it was so poorly done, and they should have think like maybe thought of a more clever way of. I mean, first off, they shouldn't even had her being a double agent or seemingly double agent. That was just entirely pointless. They shouldn't have done that.
Oh, don't forget too, when she said how I knew about it. Oh, what? Oh, you have to stop the bleeding. She basically just put like a tissue on his chest, and it's like, oh yeah, stop the
But
bleeding.
it went through him entirely, so you'd have to get both ends.
That too, but when you stop blood, just put pressure. You have to cut. I mean, I don't know how you would stop a shot to the chest because usually you have to try to cut off circulation. So you tie it, right? I'm not a medic, but
I don't know.
usually that's what you do. You put pressure to kind of cut off the circulation so it stops bleeding.
We need
So
Madam Webb to help us.
yes,
She
she's a
is
nurse,
she's a medic in the new upcoming movie.
not a doctor.
But
Point is,
okay.
like
Oh
you
yeah,
said,
yeah, you
he
go.
should have been dead.
One thing that was kind of surprising to me. I don't know if anyone ever talked about this with the movie, but the cat was heavily shown in all the trailers and all the promos. And the cat disappears for a good portion of the movie. I would say the cat gets left behind because they get ambushed, and that's when Ellie realizes that her parents aren't her parents. They leave the cat there, and the cat is out of the movie for like 20, 30, maybe even 40 minutes. And I was thinking, like, I thought the cat was going to be throughout the whole movie. Like, what is this? It's almost like they knew that the movie had to have a gimmick. It's like, oh, we're gonna have a kitty, we're gonna have a cat who can wink. I don't know. It just
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I just was kind of confused. Well, the best part too is I guess the whole setup was
oh, yeah, Bryan
at the end of
Cranston
the
like smacks the cat. He like mistreats him. He's like, I never liked that cat,
yeah. Then he gets his eyes scratched out.
even though they needed those eyes so they could open up something.
Well, that's the fact too. All of a sudden, how did he sneak up on? Like, was he super secret spies and he had snuck up on this old
I
man?
was thinking like one should be doing the typing and the other should be stand like at post essentially, just ready to fire.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be a tag team.
Always have your back to the wall. Yeah, it turns out it's Sam Rockwell. Okay, so first off, too, like I'm just thinking about everything. Everybody but Ellie knew that she is the real Agent Argylle. Literally everybody, even Sam Rockwell. So it kind of loses its impact of a twist if she's the only one that doesn't know. You know what I mean? Like it feels like if it was a twist that all the characters are even shocked by, that would have been better. But everybody knew that she was the real one except her. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly, but it
Okay,
felt a
so yeah.
little. It didn't feel as maybe satisfying as it could have been because everybody knew.
Well, yeah, also leads to the point of like why would they even bother brainwashing her?
Well, yeah, that's besides the point.
Well, because yeah, but not really a great twist either. Yeah, because it doesn't. I mean, it changes things for her, but also not really.
Yeah, everybody knew. Sam Rockwell knew. And then the movie's excuse was that they couldn't tell her everything at once because it's some kind of like, oh, it overload your brain and sensories. I don't know. Maybe that's not the right words, but they said something along those lines as to why they just couldn't flat out like set her down and tell her.
Also, I was looking it up. I was sort of right when it comes to stop the bleeding. You have to put pressure because blood will not coagulate when it's, leaking out of your body.
He just puts like a tissue on, and he puts
Yeah,
on a
so.
sling.
Well, he didn't put a sling on. He shot
He put
himself, I
like
guess,
a
with a.
he put like a wrap on.
Well, after that, he like I think he like, put adrenaline and stuff. He went he like
Oh
shot himself
yes,
with
yes, he
adrenaline
put
four
two
times,
things
like
of
Batman.
yeah, two things of adrenaline. Yeah, but Batman wasn't shot in the chest.
That is also true. Besides the point, that was bothering me. It's like God, if someone, I was just thinking, if someone who was like got a gunshot wound, I wouldn't know what to do. I need to make sure I know what to do. And I was partially right. Granted, you can always Google it, but
Yeah.
I want to be
I
prepared.
mean, I don't think you'd be able to stand up and walk, even if you had adrenaline in you.
Yeah, just a flesh wound, right?
Yeah. You'd probably collapse, just bleed out.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyway, but that's besides the point. Uh, what else? Maybe what did you like? There's a lot of negativity going on. What did you like?
I can't say I liked much. It didn't like I know we're being negative, but I don't really care much for it either. I just don't think what we're saying is I'm trying to how do I say this? There wasn't much positive, but like that's what the negatives are. Like it brings it down to like maybe it could have been a good movie. Now it's just a mid movie with problems.
They had possibly an interesting story. Who is the real Agent Argyle? These books are mirroring real life events. They had an interesting premise. It's just they botched it.
Well, it shows the most obvious answer.
Well, yeah, that too. They botched it, and I think. I mean, I want to talk about something else, like after our initial thoughts of the movie. But sometimes it felt desperate, and then we'll finish up your thoughts, and I'll talk about what I thought was really desperate. I
Well, I
think
guess
also I can't think of any positives too much besides Sam Rockwell, of course. Like I was
I mean,
baffled that the cat was just MIA for 40 minutes. It felt like of the movie, even though that was like a main selling point.
most of the posters or the all the promotion always felt like either Henry Cavill and his awesome Lego haircut or the cat.
Or him with his awesome haircut holding the cat on the poster.
I'm trying to think of my other thoughts. Like the CGI, I think we said didn't look all that great.
Yeah.
And what else was I gonna say?
Well, I don't know.
Oh no, I'm already getting my early dementia's kicking in. Oh, and I remember. Ellie didn't really strike me as a great spy. Like she did a good job, I think, acting as the introverted author, but when it came to her being a spy, I didn't really believe it. Like
Yeah.
she's supposed to be this great killing machine, great spy, and I just didn't see it.
I mean
Like
that.
Sam,
Yeah. Sam
like Sam
Rockwell looked
Rockwell,
the part.
looked, but at least he could kind of do the action, and you kind of could believe it, even though he's joking around a lot. Of her, just I still saw the timid author versus the spy.
Yeah, like there wasn't a switch on when she's in the zone as this world class spy.
Yeah, or maybe you could feel the confidence in her abilities. It was really just, again, you still saw the nervous author, which, whatever. It's not that.
Yeah, there should have been more of a contrast between her author persona and then her Argyle persona.
I know they made the point too, well, maybe she's really the author, blah blah blah. But this is just me, but I feel like if you were supposed to be this super good spy, all that stuff, you would at least be more convincing. Even if you really were this good person underneath, you should at least be able to put up a front.
Yeah, she didn't really have that front. I agree. I think also, and then again, this is another negative thing. It was too convoluted for its own good with all the twists.
What's a
I think,
twist?
I think if they just had the one twist, who the real Agent Argyle is, sure, whatever. But then they try to do the stupid. Oh well, she's a double agent, and oh, the girl from the beginning. She gave her that she was the fan that emailed her about shooting someone in the chest, how they could survive. That's how you can keep a character alive.
Those aren't your real parents. Those are the bad people. And I'm not
I
just
didn't
some
mind that
random
either.
person. I'm
Yeah,
actually your boyfriend.
yeah. And then we all knew you're the real Agent Argyle, except you. Okay, so I guess let's talk about real quick the end. After they blow up, they first off they Alfie scratches up Bryan Cranston's character, and then Sam Rockwell kills him. So then they have to go on the big ship, which is this giant, looks like a ship that holds containers. One of those like, you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
those really large container ships. They go on there so they could send the important stuff to Sam Jackson, who's at home watching NBA, just with his feet up on his desk. But
that was
then
good. Yeah.
they
And he
had
also had like NBA jerseys
he had like
that were
Shaq's
signed.
jersey, I think.
Yeah, I don't know much about basketball, but yeah, he had 32. I don't know who player that was.
I don't know either.
Anyway,
Yeah, then they fight. Well, first off, the Catherine O'Hara, the fake mother of Ellie, she has this little like what's it called? You know, like those wind up boxes.
yeah, with the music boxes
Yeah, the
with
music
the
box of the
ballerina.
ballerina, and that's like a trigger for Ellie to fall into her like killer mode. And she just starts beating up Sam Rockwell, and then they try to have that stupid callback moment where he teaches Ellie how to stomp a human skull in and kill them. And then she was about to do it, and that's when it's revealed that that girl survived. I don't remember if she killed her, maybe she did, or no, I think she hit her over the head. They upload the link, and they get off the big ship, and it blows up in this giant fiery explosion because they leaked oil earlier, as you mentioned, where she was sliding around on knives. And then it cuts back to her as a novelist persona again, and she's doing the final Argyle reading, and then she encounters the real Argyle, and then she's just confused. And Henry Cavill has this mullet with
Yeah, with
a
a southern
southern
accent.
accent. He's like, "I don't got any questions for you. I'm sure you got some for me." Yeah, I was I don't know what was going on. I guess it's another twist. There is a real Agent Argyle out there, and I don't know, Craig, if you stayed for the end credit scenes because I didn't. It's revealed that a young Argyle is actually a Kingsman agent, and the first novel is based on his life. I am not making this up.
So the first Argyle book,
Yeah,
but wasn't
I'm
based
reading the
on her
Wikipedia
life?
because I had no idea this was a thing.
I thought it was based on her life. Is that the whole twist of the movie?
Look, man, I don't know what to tell you. That's what I'm reading from Wikipedia, and that's this is what I was going to talk about Desperate. Not everything has to be connected in a movie universe, and it makes absolutely no sense for this to be in the Kingsman universe. One, because the ending of the Kingsman movies, not only are they ridiculous, but the villain plot, especially in the first one, caused mass world damage. You remember where they had the signal that triggers like aggression in your brain from the cell phones, and then everybody was just destroying everything. Everyone was killing each other. It seems like that is not even mentioned at all in this movie, and I feel like those kind of catastrophic events should be, especially if you're trying to put the pieces together from different movies to establish a world amongst other movies. And in the second Kingsman, the main villain infects the drugs that can kill people in like 3 days. And that's not even mentioned. They literally have little drones fly out to give antidotes. None of that
Also,
is mentioned.
weren't Samuel Jackson and the girl from The Mummy? I don't know what she played in this movie. She was from Rebel Moon.
Well, yeah. She was in
They
the
were
first
both in the first
Kingsman.
one,
She was the
yeah.
amputee in the Kingsman with the
Yeah, so,
sword legs. And yeah, Samuel Jackson was the first villain in the Kingsman.
yeah, now he's a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, the casting aside, it makes no sense to have this all in the same movie universe. It reeks of desperation. Because maybe they're
Yeah,
like, oh,
see this.
what kind of original IPs do we have that can become a movie universe? You don't need that. They couldn't be. I mean, they're related on paper or like on a very surface level. Oh, it's spies. They're related that way, but other than that, they're completely different. And the events of each, or like the ending of each movie, doesn't add up big picture, especially if you're trying to make a universe.
Also, I don't see why they have to be tied together in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, there's that obvious question.
I mean, just because they're spy movies. If you want to make spy movies, go ahead, but I don't know why they have to be tied together.
Okay, let's talk big picture again, real quick. There's the Kingsman, and then there's the Statesman, which are introduced in the Kingsman too. And now then there's the Division, and there's whatever Argylle works for, whatever that agency is called. There's three spy agencies running around. I don't know. I think that annoyed me the most, and it was at the very end of the movie. But it just is so desperate and honestly pathetic.
Maybe he knew he had a bomb on his hand. He was trying to get butts and seats.
I mean, maybe I don't know, but I think I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier. I think this movie isn't good, but it is better than the Kingsman, the prequel. And I think it's at times better than Kingsman 2 because Kingsman 2 is a piece of trash. I don't like that movie at all. I kind of hate it. But I think this is at times better than Kingsman 2. I don't know. Point is, I don't
And
think this is as bad as people say it is.
also, I'm curious as to why he wants to tie it so much to the Kingsman universe because I know the first one did well. How did the second? I know the Kingsman did terrible. How did the second one do?
I think the second one, I can stat that. I think the second one did fairly well for itself. I mean, they didn't, these movies, up until Argyle, didn't cost too much. It had a budget of 104 and grossed 410.
Okay, so that did okay, but now it just seemed to keep getting worse.
Yeah, the Kingsman had a budget of 95 to 100 but grossed 126. But then, context for that one, it came out like a year after the pandemic, and it came out around the same time as one of the biggest movies of all time, Spider-Man No Way Home. So that didn't go well for that movie. And yeah, this one has a budget of $200 million and is grossed a meager 39.4. So
Yikes.
yeah, that is actually pretty bad. That is as bad as one can go.
I don't know. I think they're trying to find a way to get lower. How much more money can we keep losing?
Yeah, well, it's a shame because I used to like Matthew Vaughn a lot in his movies, but I don't know what happened during Kingsman 2. He's just been on a downward spiral since that movie. I don't know, Craig. I don't know.
I don't know either. Like, did something break? Did he get like his mind broken at some point? But again, is it really? It's not just him. Like everyone's terrible now.
Yeah, that's true. At least we still have the first Kingsman movie, which is really good.
Yeah, I can't take that away from you yet.
Well, do you have any other final thoughts about Argyle?
Well, I was looking, so apparently
Oh.
Apple TV
Yeah, they produced it.
Plus Minus did this. Are they doing
Yes.
movies now?
I guess so. I don't really know. I don't have Apple TV Plus, whatever it's called. Don't care for Apple TV Plus. I guess they're just trying to dip their toes into the producing movies. I don't know. They have a box office bomb in their hands, so what a good way to start. I know
No,
you. Oh yeah, you go.
I was just wondering because usually, not that I'm aware of everything, but I'm used to the usual big name studios like Universal or
Sony.
Disney. And now we're lucky to have Apple now enter movies. We got Amazon entering movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
All these big conglomerates that just won't go away.
So with all of our negativity and cynicism, Craig, let's put that aside. Would you recommend Argyle?
Nah, it's not. It's not a hard no. It's not like other movies where we were like absolutely not. Because I was thinking, speaking of Apple, I was thinking of Monarch.
Oh, yeah, I would not recommend that.
That's a hard no. Absolutely under no circumstances should you watch that. This, I would say no. I just think there's better things to do with your time. But
Yeah.
if you were to be strapped to a chair and watching this, I don't think you would hate it either.
Yeah, I would also not recommend it, but I think it's inoffensive. I don't think it's as terrible as people say. I think it's better than like The Kingsman and Kingsman 2. But yeah, if it was on, I would watch it for free. Like again, half paying attention, of course. But yeah, I don't think it deserves all the incredible hate that it's getting thrown its way. And
Yeah, 'cause when I saw the 33%, I was just confused. I was confused. I don't understand. Like, is this some disaster? Is it the Flash? What could be so bad?
yeah, like if I were to compare it to The Flash, I'd say this is better than The Flash. The movie was just a disaster. Yeah, I would give it a solid 5 out of 10. And ironically enough, Craig, this one might not even be the worst reviewed movie in April. We have Madam Web to look forward
April.
to. All right,
Look
oh,
ahead
what am I
already.
talking about? February. What am I talking about? This may not be the worst reviewed movie in February. So, yeah, we'll eventually get to Madam Web.
That's concerning.
Yeah, I know. What a horrible and heinous thing to say. But yeah, I think I don't have much else to say about Argyle. Like I said, not terrible. It's not unwatchable. But there are better spy movies you could watch, like The First Kingsman. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I just it's mid.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. I think it's Mr. Average. 5 out of 10. Well, with all that being said, Craig, we have been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
We will see you next time.